So let's quickly start our journey by understanding business model innovation. Now, you always start developing your business model by first solving a problem for a specific segment. So you first have to find the segment, or let's say whatever startup idea you have in your mind, just find a specific segment. Let's say if you are building a dating app or a social media app, you need to have a specific segment. What is your target audience? What is the age of your target audience? And what is the geography? Obviously, the kind of segment which you have right now should be very specific. And once you have your product ready and everything in the market, then you can always expand into the market, and then you can always change the segment. But always start with a very specific niche segment. Then you have to find a value proposition in that segment. And then you have to connect the segment with value proposition with the help of your business model. So let's say if you're building a social media app for universities, then your segment is university students with an age group of around 18 years to 25 years, and you're providing or helping them connect together. That is your value proposition. Once you have your segment and value proposition ready, then you have to find a process. How exactly you're going to build the product and how you're going to maybe acquire few customers. And then you have to connect your value proposition with your process of acquiring customers, of reaching out to people, and how exactly you're going to build the product. Once you have your segment, your value proposition, and your process ready, then you have to find a revenue model, because your value proposition will drive your revenue model. Now, once you have a revenue model ready, then you have to see and have a look at your cost structure, because obviously if you're going to build the product, and obviously if you're going to acquire a lot more number of customers, then you have to incur some amount of cost. And that's why you have to look at the cost structure of your business. And then you have to connect your revenue model with your cost structure, and whatever difference that will come from your revenue model to your cost structure will be your profits in future. Now, obviously you may not have profit right now and your cost structure might be higher than the revenue. That is absolutely fine. But you should have at least a framework of all these things. One of the best way to tackle this problem is with the help of business model canvas. So let's quickly jump in the next video and understand the business model canvas. Now, business model canvas is a very beautiful framework to describe about your startup to other people, or let's say to your grandpa, or even to a 5th class student. I mean, that's the beauty of the business model canvas. Now, whenever you think about any startup idea, or if you start any business, always try to formulate a business model canvas of your business. So we're going to start our journey from the left side, starting from your customer segment. The main purpose of this business model is to make sure that you are communicating all of the information that you have in your mind in just one single sheet. So let's say if you wanted to hire a CTO for your company, or let's say you're looking for a co-founder, you cannot directly communicate these things about your startup, about ideas, about features you want. That's why you will make a business model canvas where you try to omit out all of the information, your partners, your revenue, your cost structure, your channels, your customer segment, each and every small detail in just one single canvas, so that anyone can read this canvas and they can easily understand what your startup idea is all about. So this is a really good, or I would say a useful tool if you are finding a co-founder, or if you're raising some amount of capital from investors. Now we're going to start our business model canvas journey from the left side, which is customer segment. Now I highly recommend the startup founders to have a very specific customer segment when they are starting out. Reason being, you can always diversify your portfolio of customers once you have your revenue and business model in place. But this will not happen other way around. If you have a product for everyone, then by the end of the day, you have revenue from no one. So you have to solve a very specific problem for a very specific audience. Let me give you an example for that. Let's say now for Coca-Cola, their customer segment is mass market. So no matter you are a 5-year-old kid or you are a 65-year-old guy, all of them can consume Coca-Cola. So their audience is mass market. They're not a customer segment specific company. Then there's one more company with the name Hims and Hers. This is a US based company that is specially make product for your hair loss, for your performance related issues. So their customer segment is people with the age of about 35 to 40 years who have some hair loss or some performance related problems. Then you have some diversified segment like Amazon. So they started as a book selling platform and later diversified themselves in a whole lot of services. Now they have a very diversified portfolio right now. So you have to find out a very specific segment. If you are making beauty product, your customer segment would be female with the age group of more than 40-45 years. And it depends. If you are selling some sports item or anything, t-shirts or anything, you can have a very specific customer segment. Then you have customer relationship. Obviously, once you acquire some specific number of customers, you also have to maintain relationship. Now, there are so many online tools out there which can help you do that. Like you can easily create an email marketing funnel. You can drop them text message, but you also have to make sure that how customer will relate to your product when they start using it. So you have to build a brand value. You have to make sure your customer feel happy. You design good aesthetics, and then you make sure that they are connected with you in some sort of social media. Like let's say they are following you on Instagram, on Facebook. So you need to have a customer relationship so that you can have a repeat purchase. Remember, it's 7 times more difficult to acquire a new customer than to retain an existing customer. And that's why you build a strong customer relationship with your existing customer. Then you have channels. Obviously, if you're starting out as a new company or a startup, you may not have good marketing channels. And that's why you always try to find out a very good channel. So you will start your journey with Facebook ad, Instagram ads. You will do some email marketing campaign, influencer campaign on YouTube. You try reaching out to multiple Instagram meme page or some other pages. And then you always try to find a good spot where you're getting good ROI. So you need to have your channels in place, what all channels you're using right now, which channel are much more efficient for you. And in case if you have some indirect channels like direct sales representative or someone who is acquiring customers on your behalf, you need to highlight those things over here. And you just need to write in 1 or 2 lines. That's it. You do not have to write a whole lot of summary. Then you have to find out a value proposition of your product, that why these customers are coming back and they're reusing your product. What is the newness in your product? Are your product good in terms of performance? Do you have much more customization of your product? Do you have a good design, a good brand status, convenience, accessibility, all these things. So you have to make sure that you have a good value proposition in that sense. Then comes key partners. Obviously, if you are a B2C company, a business to consumer company, you need to have some key partners who will help you out in distribution. Let's say if you are building a cosmetic brand or a brand for, let's say, nutritional brand or supplement brand, obviously you need logistic partners who will help you ship your product. That's why you need to highlight all of your key partners, that you have 2 logistic partners, you have maybe 1 digital marketing agency who is helping you out in generating leads, or let's say whatever sort of different partners you have some white label manufacturer or whatever partners. Then you have to highlight your key resources. So humans are one of the key resources you can have in your company. So if you are having a strong team of, let's say, hustler, hipster, and hacker, that's a key resource for you. If you have some amount of capital, well, that's also a resource for you. And if you have some very unique insight, advantage, or algorithm, well, that's also a key resource for you. Then you have to highlight some of the very few key activities that you do. So let's say acquiring customers, selling the product, or let's say if your product is solving a specific problem, or you have any network effect with your product. So those are very few specific key activities, not more than 3. I think 3 key activities are more than enough. Then you have to find some revenue stream of your product. If you're selling direct B2C consumer-based product, then obviously product sales is one of your revenue model. If you are selling software product, then subscription fees is your revenue model. If you are charging commission for any purchase or sale, then brokerage fees is your revenue model. So you have different types of revenue model. I think you can always go back and look at the 31 different types of business model, and then you can have a look. Then you have your cost structure. Let's say if you're manufacturing some product, you always have some fixed cost like your machinery cost, your salary, and then you also have variable cost like your electricity and all lot of things. So you have to highlight your fixed cost, your variable cost, your value driven cost, and all the cost structure that you have in your company. Remember, the main purpose of business model canvas is to make it as concise and as short as possible. Just try highlighting all the figures and do not write a lot of theory in this business model canvas, because we have to make our business model canvas as lean as possible.